A few weeks ago, I had posted a question in our community tab on YouTube, and I've been doing this for the past few weeks. I like to post polls. It's super easy. You just click, give your answer. So the question was, collecting for this system is overrated. And the three options I gave were the NES, Super Nintendo, and N64. And what's really interesting is the N64 blew it out of the water in terms of being overrated. Now, of course, this is not an official scientific poll, but for the people that did respond, I found it interesting. 56% of people said that collecting for this system is overrated, whereas the NES a little more, and then the SNES not at all. Yeah, so it's a very subjective question. It's what you love. It's what you love to play. It's what you had as a kid. People that collect for these systems, they collect for these systems because they had that system as a child and they absolutely love it. Although I will say, there is a bit of a caveat. So what I've noticed over the years of 6 years of selling at a video game store is that one of those systems has remained consistent the entire time. And that system is the NES. The NES is always popular. And I think it's because the games are super accessible. The graphics are still good. They still hold up. The majority of the library is still, $20 or less, so people can grab those games and still play them. It's such a neat console with all the variants, the unlicensed games, the super rare and expensive games out there. So I think that system has always held up, and people that collect video games tend to want to have a decent NES set in their collection. Super Nintendo is pretty much up there as well, but I'd say hasn't been as consistent over the years. Lastly, the N64. The people that collect for the N64 in general are going to be people that had this console as a kid and want to go for a complete set, which is a very attainable complete set. It's less than 300 carts. The games, though, aren't going to appeal to absolutely everybody. So not every collector is going to need a large N64 collection in their collection at home. That's one thing that I've noticed over the years. So the people that tend to collect for the N64, usually a little bit younger, I'm going to say like 35 or younger. I say 35 or younger because I'm 44, but a little bit younger, and they tend to want the Mario games, the games they had as kids, but the complete set collectors will go for the rare stuff. Kind of like this here. Good old Blues Brothers 2000. Mike asked the question, would you say that these are accurate with regards to your guys' sales? Also want to give a shout out to Max. Max comments on pretty much all of our posts. He watches all of our videos. Thank you, Max. Max said that both the NES and SNES have massive libraries that are too expensive nowadays. I would agree with this to a certain point, because I think you could reach a point with both of those collections where you could collect, 200, 300, maybe even 400 games at a reasonable price. But if you're going to go for a complete set, I would agree with Max that it's pretty much just way too expensive. What I see in the store here, because this is not a what does Dave think, it's more like what do we see at the store. NES has sold consistently over the years, Super Nintendo as well, N64 sells well as well, but fewer carts, and that might be because there are fewer carts in general in the collection, but I suspect it's just people want, when they go for sets in their collection or they're looking to add something, they want the NES. I think the NES is where collecting sort of starts for most people, and it's just been a consistent, rock solid system for us selling over the years. Thanks for the question. Thanks for commenting. If you have a comment or you have a question for me, leave it down below. What do you think? Is the N64 overrated as a collecting system? All right, cheers.